Start off our day with something wonderful, or hear a story about someone being marvelous. Let's make today wonderless. This is the show that brings you a daily dose of happy, positive, uplifting, feel good stories from around the world. This is Wonderless News. I'm Hoyt. Let's get right to it. So, our first story is an 11-year-old piano prodigy with autism. So this young man, Jude, 11 years old, is from Colorado. And one day he sat down at his parents' little electric keyboard and started playing the song that he had just heard on the radio. His parents were amazed. They couldn't believe it. Complete savant. One of the local piano teachers found out about him, came to visit him, gave him some lessons because he needed a little instruction, but also ended up donating this grand piano for this little boy named Jude, which is amazing. The piano teacher, actually gave some of his inheritance and used that to purchase the piano. An amazing gift. He got to go from the electric keyboard to the piano. And Jude was asked, what made this happen for you? What inspires you to play the piano every day? And he said, I'm inspired by God. I'm inspired by God to do this and to use this gift. He plays over 3 hours a day, and his parents are just ecstatic. And for someone with autism, it's incredible. His parents mentioned to see him be as happy as he is doing this. And it's wonderful what he's able to do with his talents. I mean, I remember my grandfather, my dad's father, and I don't remember him playing the piano, but everyone talked about how he was this incredible piano player who was never taught, who also could hear the tunes, hear the chords, I guess, if you will, and play a song that he just heard. I never got a chance to see this. I keep thinking, wouldn't it be great if someone in my family got this gift? So far, my sisters and I, no. My two cousins from my dad's brother, no. And I have 3 kids, and none of them have shown any sort of talent like this. So congratulations to Jude, and that is a really good feel-good story. Really good feel-good. All right, the next story is a 14-year-old boy sleeps outside for more than 1,000 days straight. This, every day, every night, this kid is sleeping outside. He lives in Minnesota, so if you know Minnesota, it can get really cold, and at one point it was even 38 degrees below, and he still slept outside. The whole thing started apparently during COVID. He said, hey, Dad, I want to sleep outside tonight. His dad said, fine. And then he goes, I want to sleep outside over the weekend. He said, great, why don't you just sleep outside every night until you feel like coming in? So he set up this little tent and little camping area out in the backyard in Minnesota. He sleeps mostly in the hammock that he built, so he's off the ground, and hasn't missed a day in over 1,000 days. That's incredible. So even if they go, like, let's say they go to his grandma's house, this is what they mentioned in the article, and even then he brings his camping gear and will sleep outside. If they go on a trip, he'll bring his camping stuff and sleep outside. In fact, they went on a family trip. The mom and the dad, and I think the sister, I believe, slept in a hotel, and then he and his older cousin or something like that slept outside in a campground. So again, Isaac Ortman, 14 years old, sleeping over 1,000 days outside. So his next task, he's a Boy Scout, which makes sense, right? And he asked President Biden if this summer he could actually sleep outside on the White House lawn. Isaac, you go. I hope you get it. That'll be incredible. I don't know if anyone's ever slept outside at the White House, but maybe Isaac will be the first. So another good feel-good story. All right. Next is our Wonderless moment of the day. This is always an exciting moment for us here on the show. So our Wonderless moment of the day is brought to you by our sponsor, Rise by Shaman Angelina. She makes beautiful handmade jewelry. She has an Etsy store and shop, which below here you'll see the address for that shop. Go check out her stuff. It's incredible. So for this sponsored moment, she has asked us to play and show babies laughing and giggling in this really short little video. So check this out. Wow. You know, it's cute. I mean, it's cute. It feels good to watch that. And I remember my little kids when they were that old, and it's fun. That was good. So, all right, next segment, next news. We've got man takes off on a bike ride to Bhutan to find deep happiness. Now, Bhutan is in the Himalayan kingdom. And this gentleman, Christopher Boyce, he's actually a happiness academic, right? So his whole purpose in his education, what he does now, is trying to find the whole, meaning to happiness and explain it, teach it, whatnot. And he said that he was depressed. He said that he still found a lot of struggles in being happy. And something I learned from this article is that Bhutan is actually the highest on what they call the happiest index. So this country has the gross national happiness index, and this country is at the top, meaning that the country chooses happiness over other things to establish and implement in the country for its people, which make them generally more happy and feeling better and a better, culture and society there. So Christopher discovered on his bike ride that one of the things that he was missing was thinking that the destination was truly the goal or where he would peak in happiness and feel deeper pleasure and accomplishment. But what he realized was that the journey was even more important, because during the journey he struggled and had some problems getting through this bike ride that took hundreds and hundreds of miles. And he found that getting through those moments helped him feel more joy, and he started to appreciate more of what was around him, the people that he met along the way, the experiences he had. So really interesting to see and to understand that. And I do agree with that. I used to always put my happiness index, if you will, on the accomplishment, right? I'd set a goal, and then when I got that goal, I'd feel really good. I did it. I can check that off. I accomplished that, whatever it was, business, personal, sports, it doesn't matter. What I realized on those challenges that went on and on, right? So a goal that we have could take months, weeks, it could even take years. If I wasn't happy during that period of time working up to make that accomplishment happen, I didn't feel as good when it was over. In fact, at the end, I remember I would feel almost empty. Like, okay, I did it. Now what? Which is the wrong way to go about becoming happy or feeling really happy and having deep happiness. And this is what Christopher Boyce discovered on his trip. So it's great. Now, our last episode, our last segment for this is a personal or something from all of you, my viewers and listeners. This is something personal for me. Again, another personal happiness story or Wonderlous story. So the one thing is I've been teaching my kids to be kind, right? To be courteous, to say please, thank you, to let their teacher know or their friends know that they can be there to help them. Something that a lot of us parents, can be challenged to do with some of our kids. But my oldest son, it becomes it's a little more easier for him. And the other morning, I was taking them to the bus stop, and his sister was behind him. And before he got on the bus, he stopped and he turned to her. He said, "You go first." And she was like, "Thank you so much." And just that little moment that he took to offer his sister to go in front of him. And then there was a couple other kids that he let go in front of him as well, and he went on last. I really appreciate it because I talk to my kids about this. My wife and I instill this in them, or attempting to instill it in them on a daily basis during meals and time out. But to see him do it on his own, he wasn't asked. And I could also see that he was very happy or felt good about it. So seeing his joy for that moment and that gesture was incredible. And that was probably, for me, seeing that develop was really phenomenal and wonderless. So that's my wonderless story, personal story of the day. As I've mentioned to you before, if you have any positive feel-good stories that you would like to share with us here, please email me. The email is below, and include details, pictures, a video if you want to, and your name, or you can be anonymous. And I'll highlight your story on one of our future episodes. It can be very simple, but it's always good to hear other great stories going on out in our community. So, I'm Hoyt. Thank you again for tuning in to Wonderless News. I'll see you tomorrow.